We continuing the series that we started. That's the fourth session today, number 4. It's the series of the Talmud. And last week we finished Masechet Shabbat. We already finished Masechet Brachot. We finished Masechet Shabbat. Today we'll start Masechet Eruvin. It will be cold in 5 minutes. I just turned it on. And the last we say, to refresh your memory, for those who were here last week, that a person that has no jealousy, is not a jealous person, when he dies, if you open up his grave after a long time, there's a high chance that his body will still be full. And I gave few examples last week how they sometimes open the graves of righteous people after years that they are buried, and they find a complete body. And sometimes if they bury a wicked person, even 5 days later you come, almost the half of the body is eaten already. And it's very interesting. So this is what we finish with, and then we spoke about what's going to happen in the times of the resurrection of the dead, Tchiyat HaMetim, and that's where we finished last week. Okay, today we're starting at Masechet Eruvin, Tanu Rabbanan. 2.5 years, there was a big argument between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel is two different yeshivot. About 2,000 years ago, Shammai was a very big Rav, and Hillel was a very big Rav. Two giants, the biggest of the generation, and they had hundreds of Talmidim and thousands of people who followed their Shita, their way. We know that Shammai was more strict in many things. Hillel was more lenient in many ways, and today you should know that every argument that they had, almost in all the places, with almost no exception, the halakha is like Hillel. Hillel started his life very, very poor. He was chopping trees and selling them and making few pennies, just that he can pay to come to enter yeshiva and learn, because the people used to pay money to learn. It wasn't for free like today. They're begging people, just come and learn. Baalei Tshuva, all the yeshivot of the Baalei Tshuva, they're begging people to come to learn. They sponsor the rabbis, everything. And still people, most of them don't show up. And in the old days, you wanted to learn, you have to pay. If you didn't have money, there's a bouncer there. He doesn't let you in. Later in his life, he became wealthier, Hillel. Later, close to the end of his life, he lived 120 years. And 2.5 years, he is arguing with Shammai and a sugya and a topic that if it's good for a person that he was created or not. This is very, very controversial issue. Why? First, to sit and to argue about something that Hashem created, if it was good or not, if it was necessary or not, that already sounds like chutzpah. You know, a little bit it sounds like chutzpah. That's true. If me and you will sit and argue if it was worth it for us to come to this world, then it's chutzpah, it's kind of kfirah. When the two giants, people that knew the entire Torah by heart, everything, every letter, they knew everything 100%, when they sit and argue about such an important thing, then we have to understand the deepness of it. What is the argument about? 2.5 years, Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel argue if it's good for the person that he was created or not. Those says it would be better off that he wasn't created. And those says we're not sure. Maybe it was better off to be created. After 2.5 years, almost 3 years, every day, every week, back and forth, in a complete investigation with the entire Torah, the prophets, everything that they knew, 1,300 years of tradition, they put on the table with all the evidence. What's better? It would be better not to be created, or now when we were created, if it's better to be created. That's the argument. In the end, believe it or not, it says, Noach lo la'adam shelo nivra yoter mishenivra. It would be better off not to be created. Not to be created. But now, we stuck. What can you do? Since we were created anyway already, there's nothing we can do about it. Nobody asked you, you hear. if you are here, you might as well get the maximum you can get out of here. That's the bottom line. יפשפש במעשיו, ואמרי לה ימשמש במעשיו. Two opinions, which is actually connected. They say, now when you are here, pay very careful attention to every beep you make, every step you make, everything you write, everything you say, every act what you're about to do. Check 100 times if it's good for me, it's not good for me, it's good for Hashem, it's not good for Hashem, it's good for the world, it's not good for the world, it's good for the Jewish nation, or maybe it will hurt us. You have to think about every little thing you say, everything you write, etc., etc. And the other thing is, yemashmesh b'ma'asav. Yemashmesh means to feel something that exists. Let's say I want to feel my watch. My eyes are closed. I want to know what's the shape of it, so I touch it very carefully. And I feel that it's round and it's metal. I get some idea what's in my hand. That's come from the word mamash. Mamash means real, not an illusion. Illusion, thought, it's something that doesn't exist yet. It has to be materialized into action. Yefashfesh means something that doesn't exist yet. You look for it. You check what you're about to do. Yemashmesh means what you already did. Double check. After it's already in your pocket, you did something yesterday, you did a mitzvah, you did an hour ago something. You're supposed to do it again. You're supposed to continue with the process. Check again. You'll be surprised. Sometimes you realize that you made a mistake. I give two examples. A few days ago, there was a very big issue in Israel in the religious world. Rabbi Amnon Yitzchak, which I'm sure all of you know him, is very well known for more than 20 years. He's been giving many lectures and videos and CDs and audios and internet. And making many Baalei Tshuva. As a matter of fact, it doesn't really matter whether you connect to the way he talks or doesn't connect to the way he talks. You like his style, you don't like his style. That's really not so relevant for what I'm going to say. One thing nobody can argue about, and if they do, it's really foolish arguments, that since the time of King Chizkiyahu, 2,500 years ago, approximately, we didn't have any Jew in a history that affected so many Jews to come closer to Hashem. That's reality. The numbers that people are talking about are into 6 digits. 100,000, 200,000 people were influenced partially or fully by his lectures to become Shomer Shabbos, to become Shomer Mitzvot. It's mainly in Israel because he doesn't speak English. So he affected many people in Israel. Maybe here in New York he's not as famous as he is in Israel, but in Israel everybody knows who he is. So he came about a week ago with a big claim against all the religious singers that make concerts in stadium, in halls, and invite guys and girls to come listen to them. Now we are not talking about mixed dancing, that people go and make a wedding and the singer sings and guys and girls sing. Something like this is a horrible sin. There's nobody ever argue about such a thing. A person who sings and guys and girls are dancing and touching each other and looking at each other, somebody like this has no share to the world to come. He loses it immediately. Why? It falls in a category that called Mahti Harabim. DJs, singers, etc., etc. People like this, in one event, they already make millions of sins that it will be very difficult to correct. We are not talking about this kind of singer. We are talking about people who keep Shabbos, eat kosher. They have a certainty of kosher people. They come to shul, they learn some of them Torah. But they sing, and the guy sits in one place, and the girl sits in one place. Or they sit in different areas in a stadium. No dancing is involved. They just come to watch, but you get mixed on the way, on the stairs, on the line to buy tickets. There is a mixture of men and women which are religious. The rabbi decided that after sending warnings to some of these singers, that they must stop it. They must stop giving shows in front of mixed audience. They either have to do for men or for women, but they cannot do for mixed crowd. They send warnings, they promise they stop, they didn't stop. I'm just making a very long story into a very short story. which will take 2-3 minutes. I just want to show you an example how a person can lose his eternity in 1 minute. So after he saw that these singers are playing games, according to his claims, they're saying one thing and they're doing the opposite, because there's big money here, as you know, he came and started to say their names one after the other, in public, in front of million listeners, that this singer and that singer are wicked, you're not allowed to buy their CDs, you're not allowed to listen to them, you're not allowed to invite them to any party, to any chatuna, to any bar mitzvah. If you have their CD, you must break them, and they are big sinners. Obviously, they retaliate. They don't sit and accept the punches. They fight, they argue, this rabbi allowed me, that rabbi. It became a big war. Now, I'm not getting into the sugya, who's right more and who's not. That's not really what I want to talk about. But I want to tell you one thing, how stupid people can lose everything in 1 second. Once they put the article in a Haredi website for ultra-Orthodox people, and people write comments. You know how it is. When they put an article on the news, people write comments. If you go inside and read the comments, about 50% of the people, hard to believe. I tell you, it's one of the things that shocked me the most in the last 15 years. About half of the people were literally cursing the rabbi. And this is religious people. I'm not talking not religious people. Not religious people, every second they curse the rabbis. Nothing is new, in Israel at least. We are talking people who are with beards and black hats, some of them, more or less. And they write, stay out of it, it's not your business. I don't want to tell you what they say. It's really, I'm embarrassed even to say. Now, every one of these people who wrote his comments, and 100,000 people read Lashon Hara about him, whether you agree with him or not, whether you like him, whether he's a good person, not person, is not even the issue here. We're not talking about him, not you like him, you like the way he look, or you like the way he talk. That's besides the point. Even if you have points against him, even if you writing it in public against a person that made more than 100,000 Jews returning back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even make 1,000 Jews, even make 100 Jews return back to Hashem, even made 10 Jews return to Hashem, even made 3 Jews that were goyim, and he made them things, to speak against him, put a flyer against him, write against him in such a way, you will lose your olam haba immediately, right away. Why? Somebody that Hashem loves so much, you go into a war against him? You're crazy. One of the greatest children of Hashem in the entire world, you go and fight with him? Don't you understand that Hashem will destroy you? Why don't you understand here? So all 70 years of Torah or mitzvot that they do, these people, they lose in one stupid comment. 10 words that they write, they finish it. This is an example how a person can lose everything. Now, I'm not talking someone who makes sins. If somebody makes people religious, but then he touches women's, or he looks at them in a not good way, or he steals money from people, he does it to get money out of them, he cheat them, tell me, give me money, I'll give you Sefer Torah, they give him the money, he doesn't deliver. Somebody like this is Rasha, it's wicked. Why? We aren't talking about a decent person, someone that you cannot come and say that he makes clear sins against the Torah. We are talking someone who has chazakah, certainty of a kosher person. Does he have a reputation of a thief? No. Does he have a reputation of mechalel Shabbat? No. Does he have a reputation of talking on the phone dirty stuff to women? No. Does he have a reputation to meet them in hidden rooms and lock the door and talk to them for 2 hours about their intimate life? The answer is no. Does he have a reputation of you name it? The answer is no. He comes to shul, he learns Torah, he gives lecture, and that's it. Again, nobody is perfect. Don't get me wrong here. Somebody like this, you speak about him in public, even anonymously. Doesn't matter, you write your name, you don't write your name. In such stupid moment, you lose everything. You lose everything, because especially 100,000 people would hear what you say. 50 of them will go and say it to the friends will say it to their friends. In less than 3 days, it's going to be 5,000 people who say the Lashon Hara, he wrote about him. So I just give you an example. One of the people wrote there that used to be his neighbor, and he did such and such and such, and he write it in the news. That's it, it's finished. What did he gain by that? What foolish people out there, it's hard to believe. How you can lose everything in a minute? He lose everything in a minute. What do you think, it's a joke? He comes to his trial, they show him all the mitzvot he made. 7 years of hard efforts, waking up to every day, tefillah, learning, doing, giving. In the end, they say, shh, all become white screen. Where is it? It's all gone. Why? Come see what you did. Ooh, they show him the negative side. Well, when did I do all this? No, you didn't do it. The people who listen to you and travel and say all the Lashon Hara that you wrote on the news, look what you did. Look what you did. This is all you. You are the seed. And the tree came out from your sin. And the fruit came out from your sin. And another one. And another one. Hashem Yerachem. Hashem Yerachem. This is an example how a person can lose everything in a minute. So now, what is really the arguments here? What's the arguments? Is it possible to ask if HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what he's doing or not? How can you start an argument like this? What do you think? It's good that Hashem made this world and put us here, or it's not good? And the end? No, it's not good. We'd be better off he doesn't make us. So let me explain what it means here. After reviewing the world, remember this argument was 2,000 years ago. The world was already 3,700 years old. There was 1,000 generations already prior to this argument. It's enough time to check the statistic. If they would be in our days, and they opened that argument, in less than 5 seconds, the answer would be better off not to be created. See so many wicked people out there, there's no argument. Right away you say, better off Hashem didn't make this world. But 2,000 years ago, seeing so many Jews are learning Torah, keeping mitzvot, based on what's happening in the world, then they put it on a scale from the time of Adam until their generation, and what did they find? That it's much more negative than positive. So the chance that a person will come to this world and fulfill his mission is so small that statistically maybe 1 out of 10 make it. So why it's good to be here? You come to a test that the chance to succeed is so small, and what is the problem? You want to be a doctor, so you fail. So you're not going to be a doctor. Not the end of the world. You find a job, you open a store, you sell shoes. You do something, you won't starve. So what's the problem here? The problem here is that there is punishment involved. It's not that you win, you win. You don't win, you stay who you are. Here you either win or lose. It's nothing in between. You either win or you lose. You make or you lose. Since 9 is losing and 1 is making, better not to have it. That's the, believe me, they made it. They were righteous and they all went express to heaven. They didn't have the problems that we are going to have. But they still saw the world, and they came to the conclusion that it would be better off not to be created. But now when Hashem put us here, it's His decision, nobody knows His secrets. We might as well do something before we lose the little that we can gain. There's one more thing inside, there's another secret here. The argument here is also speaking about reincarnations, Gilgulim. What does it mean, reincarnations? We already spoke hundreds of times in the past that the person that is here, it's not here for the first time. He was here in a different body, and another body, and another body. It could be many, many different bodies. Male, female, a body of Kohen, body of Levi, body of a rich person, body of a poor person, in different places in the world, different languages, different images, different everything. Now when a person dies, and he has 1 year trial in Shamayim, 1 year, we are 1 week before Slichot, we are a month and a half less, 40 days before the trial, before Rosh Hashanah, before the judgment day. But that's the annual trial. This is going to judge us for the previous year, for 1 year, for 12 months. What's going to happen the next Rosh Hashanah? Again, for the last 12 months. But then when a person dies, he has a trial for the entire life. 70, 80, 90 years, everything. So now when a person failed in his trial, and he lost a lot, he's guilty of many, many sins. He made mitzvot, but he's very guilty of many horrible sins. If Hashem decides to clean him, without free choice. I will clean you one way or the other. He sends him to hell, to Gehenom. I made a whole CD, what's happening over there. You know, you watch that CD, you understand. It's not in the website. It's too critical to display it to every beginner. If you feel you're strong, you watch it. So Hashem is cleaning him. Cleaning him. He sends him to Auschwitz, to a place that is actually much worse than Auschwitz, and he cleans the soul. Like you clean the silver and the gold, you purify it with fire, that's what happened. He pures the soul. But when it's finished, the person has a lot of positive that he did. All the mitzvot, now he's going to receive his positive. That's it, for eternity. He doesn't have to pay anymore for his sins, because he got cleansed. That's one way. Sometimes Hashem gives a person a second chance, a third chance, a 20th chance, 50 chances to come back in another body, to come to this world, and another 40, 50, 60 or 70 years, and then to redo it on your own. I won't force you to be clean. You have a chance to clean your soul. Torah, mitzvot, chasadim, you know, all the tests of the Torah. If you do it this time, you get a good mark. The arguments between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel is a person that came for the first time. How many mitzvot he had? 80%. And he has 20% negative. Hashem told him in his trial, after one reincarnation, one Gilgul, one life, Hashem told him, there are two choices here. One, to send you to Gehenom, to clean you for the 20% negative that you have, and you go to heaven and finish. Or I send you back to this world and you restart your test. Another test. So most people, they hear the word Gehenom, hell, right away they say, no, I want to come back. Give me another chance. I go back to the world. But the rabbis already knew, they see that every generation is less than the previous generation. Every generation became less religious, less holy, less righteous. You see, look, check the history. You look at the Talmud. The Talmud will tell you how every generation from Moshe until the time that the Mishnah was written was less than the one before. One generation different has already huge difference. You don't have to go 1,000 years back. Look at us. Look at us. 2 generations ago, you had people in the world that finished the Talmud hundreds of times. Not 1 or 2 or 10 like today in the world. We have few like this. Hundreds of people. How many times you finished the whole Talmud? 300 times. 500 times. 90 times. A smart Talmid Chacham today that learns in yeshiva 20, 30 years, maybe after 20 years he finished once or twice. If he's very smart. 500 years ago, Rabbi Yosef Karo wrote Shulchan Aruch. It takes years to finish it. Years. If you're genius, it takes you years. He wrote in the introduction, I wrote it for us to review it once a month. Like you take it in your train, you want to repeat what you learn in a class, so you make yourself some comments, you take it with you, you repeat it once a month, you go over everything you learn. Once a month. Today, in 1 month, you don't finish 2 chapters. Just to give you an idea how in 10 generations, the Vilna Gaon wrote the Torah in reverse 200 years ago. In reverse. The Ramchal lived 38 years old. He wrote more than 100 books. 38 years old. Take a 38 years old student in yeshiva that learns all his life. If he wrote 2 books, you take your head off. Ooh, wow, what a achievement. And his books, it's a monkey compared to the books of the Ramchal. Like a monkey compared to a person. But this is it. So, that's what the Gemara said. The Gemara said, Iftach bedoro ke Moshe bedoro. Ke Shmuel bedoro, sorry. Iftach was the leader. He went to a war. He made a neder. The first one who comes out of my house, I'll sacrifice it to Hashem. His daughter came out. There's big arguments. What happened to this daughter? He killed her in the end, or he locked her in a house to die? One of the two. No, it's not so clear. He made a neder. He was the leader. The Gemara say, according to the level of the generation in his time, he, compared to his generation, it's like Prophet Samuel compared to his generation. Prophet Samuel is in the generation of David HaMelech. We're talking 3,000 years ago. And Iftach was after. So Iftach is much lower than Shmuel. But Shmuel, compared to his generation, is like Iftach compared to his generation. And the big rabbis today in our generation, they compare to us, it's like Iftach compared to his generation. It's like Shmuel compared to his generation. It's obvious. So the Chachamim knew. The Chachamim knew. The Chachamim knew that if you come back in a second body, and then of course in a third body, the fourth, fifth, every time you come again to this world, your chances to achieve the 80% that you had in your first Gilgul is lower, not higher. It's possible, but it's going to be a lot harder. Take what you have, it's better. You come again, maybe you lose more. That's one way to explain it. It's very deep. We can talk about it a year. But this is the big, first thing, first subject to argue about in Masechet Eruvin comes from here. I'll give you an example about people that we had not long time ago. You know, Rav Levinstein is a very nice big darshan in Israel. Rav Shlomo Levinstein. He gives a lot of good drashot in Hebrew. I wish you understand Hebrew, you enjoy his drashot. He said a story that he went to Rav Chaim Kanievsky. Rav Chaim Kanievsky is one of the biggest rabbis in the world, one of the top 3 for sure. Some say the biggest, one of the top 3 for sure. So, Rav Chaim Kanievsky is well known that he doesn't waste a minute in his life without learning. Everybody knows, no matter where you come to him, unless if he talks to people who comes to get advice from him, he always learn. That's his life, learning. And he's well known as Baki. Baki means he's very knowledgeable. Like Rav Ovadia Yosef is well known that every question you ask him, he will show you where it is, and what page, and what book. He's just as good in knowing subjects where they are. It's very good. He has great memory. He learns so many books. He knows everything where they are. So his wife, very holy Rebbitzen in Bnei Brak, Rav Shlomo Levinstein, one time when he went to their house, he spoke to her a few words. So she told him, I never saw a matmid in my whole life like my father. She didn't say like my husband. She said like my father. Who is her father? Rav Eliashiv. 101 years old almost. In Israel. Everybody who needs a question in halakha in the world goes to him. He's the top authority. So he told her, we know that your father is a giant matmid, but why didn't you mention your husband? He's also a very big matmid. Plus, your father-in-law, his father was Rav Yaakov Kanievsky, the stipler that for sure had Ruach HaKodesh. He looked at you, he know exactly all the sins you make. People used to hide their face when they came to see him. Put the hat on the face, that he won't be able to read in your forehead who you are. 100%. Ruach HaKodesh for sure. All the time. Not once in 20 years. So, he was also a big matmid. Her uncle was the Chazon Ish. Maybe the biggest Ashkenazi rabbi in the last 100 years. According to many opinions. Chazon Ish. By mistake he was born in this generation. He belongs maybe 500 years earlier. Chazon Ish. Read in Shulchan Aruch. Chazon Ish. If you wouldn't know it's somebody who lived 40, 50 years ago, you would be sure he lived in the generation of the Rambam. His books is in 100 levels above the Hebrew language of today. You don't understand the words. Forget about the subject. The words, you don't know where he got his words from. People used to call him about complicated brain surgeries. Brain surgeries, open brain surgery. The brain is open. The doctors are arguing in a surgery room where to cut. And the family said, don't do anything. And they call him, and he said, tell the doctors to do from here, from A3, from 4-1. Who is this doctor? Unbelievable. But she didn't say him. She said her father. Her father is Rav Eliashiv. So he asked her, whoa, what makes you say that? I want to know. What does he have that the other maybe didn't have? So she said, Chazon Ish never had kids. Never had kids. When you don't have kids, you have more time to learn Torah. You don't have, Abba, take me here, take me with you to the lecture. I want to eat. Can I come? Can you take me to the bathroom? I need you don't have this. Half of your day just go to serve these puppets. Take me here, take me there. She did this to me, he did this to me, give him a punishment, he took the game from me, he do this, he hide it from me, tell him to give it back. Oh, a drill all day. Didn't have this headache. Yes, many people were standing online to talk to him, but you know, it's 2 minutes and goodbye. 2 minutes, goodbye. That's what it is. Rav Elyashiv had kids, have kids. She said, my father never slept later than 2 o'clock at night. He went to sleep, very short sleep, very late at night. By 2 o'clock, the Gemara was back open until tomorrow night, straight. 20 hours, straight. That's all he did all his life. She said the only time during the week he wasn't learning Torah was on Friday night when it became very dark, because he doesn't want to use the electric from the Israeli electric company, because Jews mechalelei Shabbat there. And in his time, when he was younger, there was no generators like today. Today, they put generators. The generator makes you electric for people who doesn't want to take electric from them. How come some religious people take electric from them? Because since they supply electric to hospitals and people are in between life and death, is life risk, since they generate electric to hospitals, which is a mitzvah from the Torah. Because if there's pikuach nefesh, you're allowed to do anything for people who are about to die. So from the leftover, we enjoy. That's the explanation why, after all, we're using the electric. But some people say no. Whatever they make for the hospital is for the hospital. The rest is for me. I don't want to enjoy it. So he was one of them. So since there was no light, there was no way to learn, so he used to go Friday night on a walk. He remembered many books by heart, so he walks in the street to get some air, and he learns while he's walking. Once a week, first of all week she say, he never said one word to us as his children. Nothing. All week he couldn't talk to him. Not a word. Nothing. How you doing? How you are in school? You feel good? Nothing. The only time we saw him, that's when he went on an hour walk on Friday night. Every week, one kid had a shift. We were standing on line. Next week is my turn to walk with Abba for 1 hour. And when we walk with him, do you think he ever spoke to us? He's here, but he's not here. His head is in a different world. I'm very glad that I heard that story, because a year ago, my cousin, I have a cousin that is, it's not Rav Elyashiv, but maybe in many years, he's going to get to something like this, because he's also addicted to the Torah, and he learns non-stop, and he's a big genius. And he learns all the time, non-stop, around the clock. So, one of his students brought him a young guy, and said, Rabbi, give him a bracha. So he saw that everyone is excited. What's the big deal to give him a bracha? And everyone around is like, ready for the bracha. So one guy said to him, Rabbi, you know who this guy is? He's the grandson of Rav Elyashiv, 4th generation, the son of the grandson. So he told, my cousin told him, your grandson is Rav Elyashiv, you're coming to me? It's like a joke. So before I give you bracha, I will give you the bracha in one condition. Tell me something about your grandfather, as a secret, as something that nobody knows. He said, do you think I know that much about him? Let me tell you what. They asked me 4 months ago if I can live by him. He lives alone, his wife passed away. So he has a very little, tiny apartment, very, very old, from 100 years ago. Everything still like it used to be 100 years ago. Nothing is modern over there. You have it on the internet. Somebody filmed it and put it on the internet. Put Rav Elyashiv's house, it's come out. You see what's happening over there. So, he said, 4 months I'm in his house, bringing him food, whatever, bread, milk, something. He needs to eat, a bite or two, no? So I take care of the house. Maybe there's garbage, I take it. 4 months I live in his house. He did not speak to me one word. Nothing. Hello, how are you? Thank you for coming. Thank you. He's nothing connected to this world, Bichlal. I'm his grandson. 4 months I'm in his house. He doesn't know me. I heard that story. I said, well, sounds to me a little bit exaggerating. Well, when I heard that story from Rav Levinstein, everything fell into place. They are here, but they're not here. And these people are here, you see them in body, but the soul is in a very, very high places. 8 years in the same place from morning to night, and stand there learning. What do you think? You become a giant like this by born a genius? No, it's not enough. Many genius people became horrible people. No knowledge, no nothing in Torah. They know a lot of nonsense. They use their talent for nonsense. They didn't use it for the right thing. This is an example. So speaking about matmid, means give his life for the Torah, in Har HaMenuchot, there's a cemetery in Israel, it's called the Mountain of Rest. Cemetery. Har HaMenuchot, people rest forever there. There is a grave of a Jew that lived here X amount of years ago. And on his grave, he asked the people to write, in his will, he wrote, on my grave, don't write anything, the genius rabbi, the righteous man, don't write all this. Just write, he finished Masechet Rosh Hashanah and Masechet Beitzah 4,000 times. That's all. One sentence. 4,000 times, two Masachtot? 4,000 times? How can it be? What's the point? The first question that comes to my head, why 4,000 times these two Masachtot? Learn 500 times the entire Talmud. 100 times. All the Gemarot, Shabbat, Brachot, there's many Masachtot, Baba Metzia, Baba Kama, Baba Batra, Sanhedrin, so many. What, this is the only Torah, these two Masachtot? There's many Masachtot. This is the story. The story is, this person had Taibidik. Taibidics, people that unfortunately sometimes they have to cut pieces from their body. They cut the hands, they cut the legs, lo alenu, if it's serious. And then sometimes it's affecting the vision. A person cannot see. It makes him blind. It's a horrible thing. Taibidics. So what happened? He started to lose his vision. He couldn't see good. So he went to the eye doctor. The eye doctor told him, we must make a surgery, an operation on your eyes. The good news is that we can make you see again, like you're losing your vision. So we can stop the problem and you see for the rest of your life. The bad news is that there is a chance, if we won't be successful, you become blind immediately in the middle of the surgery. There's a chance that tomorrow when we make the surgery, you become blind. I want you to sign the papers and tell us if you take responsibility, because it's a very complicated surgery. So he said to the doctor, let me think one day about it. I'll give you an answer tomorrow. He went home, he's sitting and thinking, if I'll take the surgery and I'll become blind right tomorrow, I won't be able to learn Torah anymore. Why? Blind person is like a dead person. Cannot read, cannot do anything. You're going to need to hire a person to read for you everything. It's impossible. How my life's going to be? But if I won't do the surgery, anyway in a few months I'll be blind. One way or the other I'll be blind. But maybe I have X amount of time to prepare myself for the day I'll be blind. So what am I going to do? I'm going to learn two Masachtot by heart. I'm going to start learning every page 100 times until you're going to know the page by heart. Once I know the whole Masechet by heart, Masechet Beitzah and Rosh Hashanah, it's not such a long Masachtot. It's not that many pages compared to others. So I know these two Masachtot by heart to secure myself. In case I'll be blind, I'll be able to learn without the book. I know the whole thing by heart. All of them, I'm going to repeat this page, tomorrow the next page, the next day, the day. Like this, I'll be busy learning Torah all my life. I don't want to miss the learning Torah. It's the most important mitzvah. Few months he learned those two Masachtot by heart. Then he came back to the doctor. He said, now I'm ready for the surgery. The doctor tested his eyes. He said, I'm sorry, it's too late. That's it. It's impossible now to help. Few more months, you'll be blind. And that's it. 3-4 months later, he became blind for the rest of his life. But from the minute he became blind, all day was learning those two Masachtot. Before he died, he said to his children, write on my tomb, on the matzeva, that today I finished the 4,000 times Masechet Beitzah, 4,000 times Masechet Rosh Hashanah. You understand? No, this is people who really love Hashem. Not sport and nonsense and go shopping here and go sushi there and all this nonsense. Love Hashem, which means I live for you, Hashem. You say that Limud Torah is the most important thing. I will make myself learn one way or the other. In a good way, very good. Not a good way, I'll force myself. One guy came to my cousin in Israel and said, Rabbi, I'm trying to learn, I'm learning. It's very hard for me. I'm not happy. I don't see yet the happiness that everybody is talking about. It takes time until you get clean from all your impurity. Over the years, you gain a lot of tum'ah. So he told him, it will take time until you clean. Your soul will get clean, then you won't be able to live one moment without the Torah. You get to this point. It may take months, it may take years, depend on how much tum'ah you have. Depend on your previous lives, depend on many things. But then my cousin told him, but who said that you have to learn because it's great or it's pleasure? Who? You have to learn because Hashem said so. Who said that it has to be pleasure? What is this, food? What is this? Sit and learn. This subject is not my time. I don't connect to it, Rabbi. There's all kinds of things. It's very difficult for me. I rather learn the Midrashim. I rather learn Chumash. I rather read this. I rather read Sipurei Tzadikim. This is too much for me. Who says, so what? You learn this. Hashem wants you to learn the whole thing. Everything. Whatever you can learn, you learn. Then, we continue in a Gemara. A person should never walk behind a woman on the street. Remember, this is 2,000 years ago when the women never even dreamed to dress like today. Never even dream. If there was a woman that was already not religious, in case there was a Mechalelet Shabbat, she never dared to walk the way the women walk today on the street. The religious women, how they walk today here in Main Street and other places, 99% of them are completely not sanua, completely like chiloniot. 99% of them, and I'm not exaggerating. You put 100 religious women here, maybe one of them go according to Shulchan Aruch. One of them maybe. Clothes that are tight, stretch, reading here, skirt that is too short, open, cut, all kinds of belts to attract attention. No, not to talk about the wigs, $10,000 wigs all the way down. Sometimes better off not to put it. And modesty is not only the way you dress. It's the way you behave. How you walk, how you talk, how much noise you make. Who do you talk to in a store when you go in? Did you have to talk to that man? Was it a matter of life and death? What is this, your doctor? You need open heart surgery that you need to talk to your doctor? No. What is he? Somebody who sells. So what do you have today? Fresh? Something for me you kept? What for? Soon he's going to be your husband in 5 minutes. And she walks with, she's a Rebbitzin. They don't learn. They don't listen. They don't listen to what they need to listen. They don't listen to. A person cannot walk after a woman on the street, even if it's his wife. Why? What's the problem? Your wife walks 5 steps in front of you and you see the back of your wife. You're allowed to look at your wife, even in intimate situations. So what's the problem? What's the problem if you walk after your wife, you get used to walk after a woman, and the next thing tomorrow when you walk in the street it will be a different woman. And you already got used to that. If every day you walk after your wife, tomorrow you walk about somebody else, about her sister or somebody else. This is the way a person is. You start with small, the sin growing by the minute. If he got stuck on a bridge that she comes in front of him, there's no way to run. Why they say bridge? Because any other way, you have to make a turn, not to look at her face to face. So if you're stuck on a bridge, there's nowhere to run. Yasalken al atzdadim. You walk to a situation on the side that you don't have to look at her. If you walk to a lake, knowing the women there swimming, goyot, today not to talk about public pool or the beach, forget about it. Walking to a place knowing there are women with bathing suit over there, אין לו חלק לעולם הבא. Has no share to the world to come. Rabbi, we go to Acapulco, Cancun. We're going to be in Pesach for Cancun. So what do you do after Leila Seder is finished? The next, you give money to a woman. She works in a store. You have to pay her. And you come to the register. I'm talking to you in a modern language. In the old days, there were no 1,500 register in a supermarket. Because the whole store was 2 by 2, 5 by 5. That was the stores. When I was a kid, that's the way it was. Today you go to every supermarket in Monsey, bigger than a football field. 50 aisles. You come to the register like Costco, I don't know, 12, 15, Walmart, 20 different things. So now, some of them have guys, some of them girls. Sometimes he decides, where will I go to pay? Oh, here is a beautiful Goya right there. Let me go over there. Well, I have to pay, no? Why you don't go to this monster, the man over there? Why? What? I'm already here. I want to enjoy a little bit. Rabbi, what's that? Don't be fanatic. Ma, 3 years I'm with the same wife. Let's you know, come on. It's called ירידה לצורך הראייה, Rabbi. We go down a little bit, that tomorrow will be more righteous. All kinds of stupid things you hear. Giving her money from his hand to her hand, or going to receive from her a refund, from her and not from him, that he will be able to look at her, even if he's in a level of Moshe Rabbeinu, the level of Moses, שקיבל תורה מהר סיני, will not be able to avoid hell, just for that alone. לא ינקה מדינה של גיהנום. Hashem will not take it to consideration that he's big like Moshe Rabbeinu. ועליו הכתוב אומר, יד ליד לא ינקה רע, לא ינקה מדינה של גיהנום. No, are we close to be tzaddikim, or are we still very, very far? What do you think? Just based on the hour that I spoke so far, the 50 minutes. Now we understand how much more we have to work. אמר רבי ירמיה בן אלעזר, אומרים מקצת שבחו של אדם בפניו וכולו שלו בפניו. You want to compliment your friends or somebody next to you, don't say everything that you know good about him. Why? You say 1 or 2, that's it. Don't compromise, don't praise him too much. Why? דכתיב, where is the source? בראשית 7, Genesis 7, כי אותך ראיתי צדיק לפניי בדור הזה. Hashem said to Noach was one, Abraham was tzaddik in his generation, and Noach was tzaddik in his generation. When Hashem spoke about Noach, when he spoke to Noach face to face, direct, he told him, I see you a tzaddik, you are tzaddik in this generation. One word, tzaddik. Later Hashem wrote in his Torah, Ish tzaddik tamim haya bedorotav. An extra word. Perfect tzaddik. When he spoke to him, he said, you are tzaddik compared to all the losers here. Compared to all the wicked people. You are tzaddik compared to them. Later he wrote, Ish tzaddik tamim haya bedorotav. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah ben Elazar. What does it mean when the bird, when the dove came to Hashem and say, Noach sends the dove to see if the flood drying out. Why? If the bird would bring a leaf, the birds eat from the trees, the leaves. If he sees that the bird has some kind of leaf, that means the trees are not drowning. They come out of the water. That means the water evaporates. So, Amra Yonah lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The dove say to Hashem. How the dove speak? The dove speaks in their own language. Go every morning into the backyard, I don't know in Queens, but in Monsey, every day, 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning, you go up to your deck, you hear millions of birds. They tell 4, they answer 5. 2, they answer 4. They have mamash singing. You see, they repeated the same. It's not coincidence. Mamash, they have a language. It's hard to understand them the same way it's hard to understand Chinese. How many years you need to learn Chinese? 500 years? Everything sounds the same. 500 years you learn in school to learn to speak Chinese. You think you're going to be able to speak Chinese? It's hard. Learn the language of the birds. It's also very hard. It's all kinds of beeps that they make. So the dove says to Hashem, Ribono shel olam, master of the world, it's better my food will be bitter. Kazait, a raw olive is very bitter before you marinate it. But it will come directly from you, and don't be sweet like honey, but come from the hand of people. This is the secret of this pasuk. Then Masechet Eruvin continue. Ovre be'emek abacha ma'ayan yeshituhu. There's a pasuk that when you say it, you're supposed to get goosebumps all over your body. What does it mean? Ovre be'emek abacha ma'ayan yeshituhu. Ovre means violators, people who violate the rules of Hashem. Avera comes from the word over. Over al divrei Hashem comes, it's called avera, sin. Sinners. Ovre means sinners. Emek Abacha, it's the valley that called Bacha. Where the word Bacha comes from? Boche. Bacha, Boche. When I was a kid, my father used to call me Bacha. Why? I don't think he knew what he's talking about. Means everything that I wanted, I started to cry. I want this, I want this. I never had what the kids today have. 5,000 different kinds of toys. I had one little horse, that's it, my whole childhood. One. So I cried for another one. Today they have 5,000, they cry for 10,000. There's no end to it. They play 5 minutes, they just got it. 5 minutes later, they miss everything. The cards, the things, everything disappeared. Where is it? Just got it. They don't care. Garbage. Garbage. He leaves it outside, he leaves it there. It's rain on it. Nobody appreciates anything. So, Bacha means it's a valley that people cry there non-stop. Soon we're going to know where it is. Moridim dmaot kema'ayan shel shitin. It's like spring water. They never stop. They come from the ground and they come and come and come. You come 1,000 years later, it's still coming out. Where is all this water come from? Spring water, 300 feet under the ground. If you have a well, you know how deep they dig. The water comes up. You have a faucet. That's many houses in upstate. They have wells. They don't get water from the water company. They have their own well. If 1 or 2 years there's not enough rain, the spring water is not enough. You can get stuck. The well gets choked with mud, with sand. That's it. It dries out. You get stuck. You don't have water. That's called spring water. שבוכים ומורידים דמעות כמעיין של שיטין. Chazal says around Gehenom, around hell, there are rivers. Like the Jordan rivers. You know, there's many rivers that the water are flowing all the time from one place to another. What's the difference between standing water and flowing water? One king, he told his queen, I don't allow you to go and swim in that lake. Why? There are people passing by sometimes on their horses there. I don't want people to say, the queen, the wife of the king, is going with her clothes inside the lake and they see you. It's not respect. You know, she wasn't such a reliable wife. One day she went again. So when he found out, he told her, I make a vow now that if you're going to go one more time into this water, he points at the lake or the river, I'll give you divorce right away. He makes a swear, he swears on his name, the king, in front of his soldiers. What happened? Maybe a week or two later, she went again. Now somebody came and said, look, she just went into the lake, here, witnesses. You must give her now a get. But people do not use their head, they use their heart. He loves her. So now he's thinking, what am I going to do? I make a neder and everybody, all my advisors, they all witness it. So he told her as his advisors, I'm giving you 24 hours to get me out of this problem. I got myself into this problem. Your job is to use your brain. How do you get me out of this neder? After 24 hours, they stand online. What do you have to say, Mustafa? Nothing, Your Majesty. Ahmed, what do you have to say? Nothing. Saeed, what about you? Nothing. Mahmoud, what about you? Nothing. Kaider, what about you? Nothing. Yasser, what about you? Nothing. Nothing. They have nothing to say. So the king, he said, I don't know what am I going to do. Should I divorce her or should I kill all of them, these losers? They cannot find out with one, they cannot come up with one idea. You know what? Let me go ask the rabbi of the Jews. Maybe he has an idea. He comes to the rabbi of the Jews. He said, Rabbi, this is what happened. The rabbi told him, you don't have to divorce her. What's the question? So, you sure, Rabbi? Why? He said, when you made a neder, you say that you're going to divorce her if she's going into this water. I said, right, that's what I said. He said, but when she went again 2 weeks later, it wasn't this water. Those water went to another place. It's new water who came. That's why your neder never started. He keeps the Rabbi, I want to be a Jew. Send me to Rabbi Chaim to convert. No. You give a guy a gift like this, right away he's willing to be a Jew. Yeah. Or one Arab, he was eating pomegranates. So his wife was getting him angry. So he told her, if you don't stop by the time I finish this pomegranate, I give you a get. You know, the Arabs, when they want to divorce their wife, they say three times the same word. You are divorced, divorced, divorced. They say it in Arabic. I think they say tala, 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 something like that, finished. Cannot reverse it. It's like handing the get in her hand, by words. She's divorced already. So the Arab finishes pomegranate, and then she continues, she gets him angry. Okay, you divorce, finish. I made a neder. Of course, he went to all his advisors, said, well, you have to keep your word. What, you're the king, no? What, you're going to give a bad example? You have to divorce her. All the advisor couldn't come with any solution. He went to the rabbi. The rabbi told him, she's not divorced, she's still your wife. So why? He said, let me come to your apartment, I show you why. He comes with him to the apartment. This is an hour after he divorced her. He already relaxed, he's already regretting, so he went to the rabbi. The rabbi comes with him to the house. The rabbi pick up his kilt and go under the table, and he found few pieces of the pomegranate that fell on the floor. He said, you see, you never finished the pomegranate. You say, when you finish the rimon, here, look, I found 10 pieces on the floor. You see, you never finished it. You never kept your word. If you finish 100%, then she's divorced. Since you left 10 pieces or 20 pieces on the floor, you never finish it. You can be with her. Use your head. Anyway, we continue. שבוכים ומורידים דמעות כמעיין של שיטים, crying like rivers. Chazal says around Gehenom there are rivers flowing. Why? From the crying of the wicked people, from their tears. It's fill up those rivers with rivers of tears. Imagine millions of people, 5,700 years. You understand what's going on here, no? שמצדיקים עליהם את הדין, that they admit that the judgment that Hashem made to them is 100% correct, and this is what they say, ריבונו של עולם, יפה דנת, you judged us fairly, יפה זיקית, whatever you found us not guilty, you correct, יפה חייבת, whatever you found us guilty of, you also 100% correct, יפה תיקנת גיהנום לרשעים, you are 100% correct that you made this hell for the wicked people. יפה גן עדן לצדיקים, and heaven, garden of Eden to the righteous people. אמר רבי לוי, רשעים, wicked people, אפילו על פתחה של גיהנום אינם חוזרים בתשובה. The wicked people, moments before the cruel angels are holding them and pushing them into the place in Auschwitz over there. They're going to the place in the burning, horrible places that you can ever imagine. They still don't make 100% tshuva. The ego, the pride, the angry, whatever the thing. What is it? Where does it say it? Yeshaya Samech Vav, Isaiah 66. צאו בפגרי האנשים הפושעים בי. Hashem says, This is the pasuk. I'm going to explain it. Go and see the fortune of the people who rebel against me. Who is Hashem talking about? He did not say Shepashubi, the wicked people who rebelled against me in the past. No. Those who are constantly rebelling against me. Who? Who? Those who goes to Hashem Yirachem, to hell, to Gehenom. And what do? If they kept Shabbat, on Shabbat they take him out of their fire. They're not staying there. They go out. They have a day off. Why? They kept Shabbat. If they kept Shabbat 45 minutes after the sunset, like most people stand with a cigarette ready in their mouth, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. How did I make it? Wow, what an angel. He couldn't live 24 hours without a cigarette. Rabbi, it's so hard. You don't smoke, so you don't know what's going on here. How can I live without it? I told you once, my father told me, make sure when you take your friends in the car with you, never to leave a pack of cigarettes on the dashboard. Why? If a person needs a cigarette after a meal and there's no stores open, it's not, in Israel it's not like here. Today maybe it's more advanced, but 30 years ago, 7, 8 in the evening, all the stores are closed. You don't have 7-Eleven around the clock. You can always go buy cigarettes. That's it. You have. You don't have, you have to wait for tomorrow. He comes after a meal, after a restaurant, and he needs a cigarette and he cannot find, he see it in a car, believe me, even if he's not a criminal, he'll break your glass and steal it. Cannot live without it. Cigarette, what? I need a cigarette after the meal. Don't light. No, I can't. Don't. You give him $100 cash. Don't light that cigarette. No, I can't. You understand? This is it. So, it says like this. On Shabbat, they take them out. Where? They have rest. Those people who didn't keep Shabbat, they also have a partial rest. They don't come out of the chambers, but the fire is not on. On Yom Tov and on Shabbat, the fire is not on. So they stay there, which is a horrible place, but there's no fire on. But those who kept Shabbat, they take them out. They take them to a place. There's one kind of punishment that they take them constantly, from the fire to the snow, from the fire to the snow. Up, back and forth. What do? They take snow and put under their arms as much as they can. They try to take snow. Why? They cannot take it in their hand because there's angels over there. Well, it's like this world. How the Nazis used to come and check your pockets. It's mamash 100% over there. 100%. So they try to steal snow that for maybe half an hour they'll be able to be cool off over there from what they suffer, for all the sins that they made, for the murderers, the Mechalelei Shabbat, the thieves, all these people over there. So Hashem says to them, Reshaim, you wicked people, even here you don't stop to steal. Anybody gave you permission to touch? Over there they don't make tshuva. You see today, you don't have to go there. You see here in this world. In this world, the Zohar said that when Mashiach comes, who is gonna come to fight against Mashiach? All the not religious people, the descendants of the Erev Rav, they'll come all united to fight against Mashiach. What are you, fool? When are you going to admit that your life was all baloney, all a lie? Now the Mashiach came, you see, earthquake in Jerusalem, the mountains open up, the voice of the shofar all over the world, people are standing, they're all in shock. You have in mind now to take weapon and go and shoot at Mashiach and fight with him? You don't surrender? When is it going to end? It's never going to end. Moments before, they still curse and fight. Look at the Nazis, Nuremberg trials. They're about to hang them. They still scream, Hitler, Imach Shimo. Some of them, 1 or 2, I think, regret. They say a few words of regret. All the others, yeah. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah ben Elazar, שלושה פתחים יש לגיהנום. Hell have 3 different entrances. One in the desert, one in the ocean. Amar Rav Yoshua ben Levi, 7 different names Hashem used in the Tanakh and in the Kabbalah for hell. What are they? There are 7 different layers, 7 different sections. Shiv'a Madore Gehenom. What are the names? Sheol, the word Sheol, Avadon, Be'er Shachat, Bor Shaon, Tita Yaven, Tzalmavet, and Eretz Tachtit. That's the lowest one, which is the worst place. 7, one below the other. The last one, all the way in the bottom, it's a place that if you chas v'shalom ever get there, you never come out of there. There's no end. All the other 6 places, it's for limited time. 100 years, 500 years, depending on how many sins. Once you chas v'shalom, God forbid, you go to Eretz Tachtit, no person ever comes out of there. Stays there forever. Forever. Forever means billion, trillions of years forever. Because the soul doesn't die. It's not like here 7 years and you die. The soul is endless. It's divine. It stays forever. Forever. You know what does it mean forever? Le'olam. Who goes there, you know? Mechalelei Shabbat. Jews who don't keep Shabbat. Wasting seed and Chilul Hashem. 3 worse sins. 3 worse sins. Chilul Hashem means with yarmulke, steal, touching the ladies, all kinds of sins in public that people see. See, this is Judaism? Look how he talks, look how he cares, look how he steals. Hashem Yerachem. Eretz, Tachtit Haaretz, Hashem Yerachem. All the dirt of cleansing the souls in the upper 6 levels, all sinking down to that place that's called Tachtit Haaretz. I don't want to go too much into details to describe to you what happened, but in my DVD, I went into details, to the last details, with the name of the angels, who goes to what, for what sins you go to the first, second, third, and fourth. Every Jew, the truth is, has to know it. But some people are very weak characters. If you show them the truth about themselves, so since they see that there's a lot to change, and I'm subject to a horrible penalty, so they say, you know what, let me commit suicide all the way. The little that I do, I don't want to do also. Yalla, I'm finished, I'm a lost case. Hup, I become a goy. Some losers, they become even more losers. Some people, when they read it, they say, oh, wow, life is not a picnic after all. I better wake up before I chas v'shalom find myself over there. Moshe Rabbeinu, Hashem opened him the top of hell. So what's happening there on Monday? It was created on Monday. That's why the Torah doesn't say Vayar Hashem ki tov. In all the days of the creation, Hashem used the word tov. Monday, not tov. Why? Gehenom was created. How can you write tov? People pay for all their murders and sins and chilulei Shabbat. You can say tov, good. When Moshe saw what's happening there, what screams for what sins people have, he started to shake. Moshe Rabbeinu speaking to Hashem every day. Just finished his conversation with Hashem. He saw what's going on. He started to shake. Only when Hashem told him, relax, you're not going there, he relaxed. We, Rabbi, for sure not going there. What? I put tefillin 2 minutes every day. What? I give $1 in a box. They come, you know, like this in the shul. I put quarter, $1. Why should I go there? I'm a tzaddik. I learn Torah. 3 minutes, Rabbi, 3 minutes a year, I learn Torah. You know? Sometimes I put tzitzit when it's not too hot. So why should I go there? What about all the other sins that you do? I told you once, one rabbi needed to collect money in an emergency. So he came to a place of stingy people. He said to the rabbi, Rabbi, help me out. I need to do fundraising. So the rabbi said, okay, we're selling aliyot now. Whatever they buy the aliyot for, I'm willing that you take it. So, okay, very generous of you, Rabbi. I appreciate it. I told you that story, you know. It's good. So, yeah, there's some few people here. So, one guy say, Chai. One guy say, Pa'amayim Chai. Twice. One says 52. Another guy says 60. One guy says 72. One guy say 90. One guy say 101. Says Zacha. Then, you know, פעמיים חי, 3 times חי. Then, when they got to one guy, say 90. Says, one guy say, $1. This is all was pennies. פעמיים חי means 36 cents. 52 cents. In the end, one guy screamed $1. This guy was happy, 101, 52. Oh, I'm making few $100. In the end, he took $2 over there. You understand? And these people think, I'm a tzaddik, I donate פעמיים חי. פעמיים חי. Okay, time is running out. We ran out of time. Any questions before we finish? Yeah.
Well, you talk about the hell and everything else, but yet it says in Avos that, you know, all Jews have a place in the world to come. So is that a contradiction?
No, not at all. I actually have a whole lecture about it. I made a whole lecture about this, and you should know that this is a very common mistake, that the Mishnah says, כל ישראל יש להם חלק לעולם הבא, every Jew has a share to the world to come. But the Mishnah continue right after and say, and those are the Jews who does not have a share to the world to come. Did you know that this Mishnah have 2 halves? Now, why do you only know the first half of the Mishnah? I just made a new audio CD a few days ago, brand new. I maybe gave only 100 of them out. We're making Bezrat Hashem some CDs next week. We give them out. It's called Garden of Eden. Speaking about all the mystical things that are going to happen to the soul after death. 4 different stations, times of Mashiach, the resurrection of the dead, Garden of Eden, the world of eternity. It's 4 different stations that the soul is going there. And over there I explain the answer to your question in 5 minutes just about this. You can listen to the CD in case you forget what I'm telling you right now. But the reason that you only know half of this Mishnah, and you're not the only one, most Jews only know this half of Mishnah, because Chazal, our sages, cut this Mishnah by half, and they took the positive half and put it inside the prayers, right? Which means we come to Hashem and we remind Him the first half of the Mishnah that He told us. What did He say? כל ישראל יש להם חלק לעולם הבא, שנאמר, ועמך כולם צדיקים, לעולם ירשו הארץ, נצר מתי, מעשה ידי להתפאר. That's the positive half. No. Then they say, who are the ones who don't have a share to the world to come? האומר, אין התורה מן השמיים. Right away, 50% of the Jews you cut right there. They say, the Torah is not from Hashem. The rabbis made it up. You have no share to the world to come. End of story. In case they don't say it, they say, no, Hashem gave the Torah, Rabbi, I believe in it. What else can cause them to lose their share? האומר, Moshe badai. Say, Moshe is not reliable. Some of the things he said from Hashem, some of the things he made it up. Right away, take another 10%. Then what else? Somebody who say, I believe in a written Torah. But the oral Torah, the rabbis like to add, they made it up, they make it more juicy. Right away, lose his share. Someone who say, I don't believe in Mashiach. What? You believe Mashiach? You're really such a fool? You believe the stories, fairy tales? You look like an intelligent person to me. You went to this college. How can it be that you're so primitive? You know how many people like this they talk? They lose their share to the world to come. You believe of the resurrection of the dead? What? A dead person, 500 years is dead, he's already ashes there in a grave. What do you think? He can come up and become a person again? Somebody like this, and many other examples. So what do you see here? What do you see here? That there are just few bad ideas that a person can say and he lose it. One last thing, ויש אומרים, רבי עקיבא אומר, אף הקורא בספרים חיצוניים. A Jew that says, Rabbi, I'm going to college. The college starts right here after the summer. I already paid for the semester. What are you going to learn? I'm going to learn Islam. I want to be a specialist in Quran and Islam. You know, I want one day to be a teacher, to teach about it. Jew. Why you want to learn such nonsense? a book that was written by a faker. It's full of errors and mistakes. Phony religion. Why do you want to waste your time on it? Learning that nonsense take away from learning the real book of Hashem. What do you expect? To go clean without a punishment? Replacing diamonds with mud? That's what the Navi says. They have the ocean and they go to search water in holes in the ground. How much water you can take from a hole? You take a shovel, you make a 10-foot hole in the ground, maybe some water comes out. No, you take some water full of mud, you drink. You have rivers, billions of cubes of water. You leave it and you go to look for water under the ground, Hashem says. What's the analogy here? You have me. You're going to replace me with these religions and cults that belongs to the garbage? You're replacing my Torah with this? Or Christianity? Or Hare Krishna? Or Buddhism? Or Hinduism? And all the rest of the garbage? All of that, it's called Sfarim Chitzoniyim, books of nonsense. Not to talk about romance and love stories and all the other dirt that's out there. I'm not even talking about it. I'm talking things that supposedly it's not a sin. Rabbi, I want to be intelligent. Don't get me wrong. If you're a person who gives speeches and you want to prove the Jews that they have to leave this nonsense and come back to the real thing, like I had a debate with that priest, then the target sanctify the way. You know, you have to do it. There's no other way. They only get impressed when they see that the rabbi stand with the priest and crush him to pieces. Then they admire the Torah. But if the rabbi doesn't know anything from what the priest say, so they say, okay, that's his word against his word. He speaks from his Torah and he speaks from his Torah. But when the rabbi stand with the Qadi or the Muslim or the priest or the Hindu, whatever they have, and show them that every page in their book there's tons of mistakes, and a person wrote it, not God, that's the end of the argument. If you remember the priest in my debate, and the last 5 minutes, he said, you put me in a hole, I don't know how I'm going to get myself out of there. So I told him, I just proved to you that Christianity is false. It's not the word of God. He didn't say no. What did he say? But my heart doesn't let me leave it. My heart. It was so good to me over the years. So I told him, yeah, the Muslims that come and put a bomb on him and explode the bus, this is also his heart. He goes by his heart. That's what they told him. The heart is nothing, I told him. You yourself, I told him, said in the beginning that we have to follow the evidence, not the feelings. Feelings is illusions. What feelings? You take a pill, you have any feelings you want. You just tell me how do you want to feel, and I give you something, and you feel like the way you want. Feelings. Yes? Three, in the desert, in the ocean, and in Jerusalem. Yes?
I didn't get a chance to talk about last week, but you said last week that Hashem came to other nations before the Jews.
And offered them to accept the Torah.
Right, but for example, let's say they went to the Chinese people. Why would the Chinese people want to learn about Paro or about the Jews, Moshe Rabbeinu, or they wouldn't have known?
You have a misunderstanding of what I said. First of all, when Hashem came to offer them the Torah, it's not the Torah you read today. There was no Paro yet. The story of Egypt and Paro and the nation of Israel went to Egypt will come later. The Torah meant 613 mitzvot. That's what it means. When we say the Torah, what do we really mean? The historical part of the Torah or the 613 mitzvot? If we had, God forbid, to cut the Torah to two different parts. One part is the 613 mitzvot, and one part is all the rest. Which part would we have to take to save our religion? The 613 mitzvot, because the bottom line, what gets you to earn Olam Haba is keeping the mitzvot. If you're not going to have the mitzvot, but you know all the history of Bnei Israel, it's very nice to teach the kids that we know where we came from, but it won't give us one credit. What gives us credit is the mitzvot. So Hashem took his mitzvot to all the nation and said, this is my Torah, this is what you're going to have to do. He didn't tell them the whole thing. He just gave them a quick summary. This is it. They ask, what's in it? We want to know more details. Hashem no say, you either trust me or not. Why Hashem expected the Goyim to accept something that they don't know what it is? If a lawyer come and say, I want you to sign, come sign. Say, no, I want to read first. No, sign. Obviously, you are stupid if you're willing to sign right away, right? Smart person, say, no, give it to me, give me 2-3 days, I want to see it, I want to bring my lawyer, my father, I want to get some ideas before I sign, right? Yes. But over there, you have to remember when it was. It was that after all the nations saw the hands of Hashem in such a way, what he did in the last year in Egypt, it was enough for them to understand, let's grab it. Let's grab it. Just we see the power of this God, let's not lose the opportunity. The majority of them voted against it. The minority, later Hashem gives them a chance to convert in a new body when they come back again to this life. Yes?
We were discussing about Beit Hillel and Beit Shammai.
Yes.
About it was worth it if a human being was born here. What was the point of the discussion?
Who was what?
What was the point of the discussion?
First of all, you know that a part of the Judaism is one huge philosophy. Judaism is philosophy. A real philosophy, like not all the nonsense out there. It's real philosophy. So a part of philosophy is to argue for the truth. Every person is searching for the truth. You know, you want to know why. You want to know why Hashem did it that way. What happened if this way. There's millions of questions. The whole Gemara, you have thousands of questions and thousands of answers and hundreds of arguments in everything. What's the correct way? What's the right way? And in the end, they reach a verdict. That's called Gemara, Talmud. Part of it was asking a question about what Hashem did. Hashem, for instance, David HaMelech asked, why Hashem make mosquitoes? Couldn't understand what's good about them. What do you need them here? Why Hashem made webs? They make spider webs. This is a legitimate question. Every normal, smart person has to ask question. Why Hashem made Goyim? Why? Especially those who fight against Israel constantly. Everything has a deep reason. So the Gemara asks all this question. What do you think? It's only I'm allowed to do this on Shabbat or not allowed this? There's so many general questions in the Talmud that the Gemara answer. As a matter of fact, every one of the lectures I ever gave, if you sit with me, I'm going to show you that everything I say is in the Talmud. It's nothing I invented. Nothing. I don't sit home and say, what am I going to say to make them enjoy the lecture today? Okay, let me do this, let me do this, let me say this, let me say. It doesn't work that way. Everything I ever learned or know comes from the Talmud. What? That's the foundation of everything. Rambam say, a Jew that knows Chumash, he knows the parashiot of the Torah, and he knows the Mishnayot. From that moment on, all his life should sit and learn Gemara. That's the highest level of learning in Torah. Gemara, because it makes you sweat. Your brain works in a very high energy, very high efforts. Yes?
Yeah, you said sometimes persons come back in reincarnation to fix their problems.
Yes.
Is there like a maximum number of person come back?
The truth is that one opinion that I saw is that a person comes back 3 times as a person, and then after that, he's going to come in different ways, animal or this. But the truth is that it's not true. Why? Today, when we go to parapsychologists, we hypnotize a person. It's called regression. You can make regression to a person and see that he was at least in 10 bodies just in the last 300 years. How do you do it? It's today we are in 2010. You send him to 1930 and he speaks German. Then you take him to year 1850 and he speaks French. Then you take him to 1750, he speaks Arabic. And then you take them to 1650 and he speaks Yiddish, whatever it is. Then you can see how many different lives he has. And he describes himself, I'm in Germany, I'm in Poland, I'm in France, I'm in here. So you see right away, in the last 300-400 years, he was already in 5-6 bodies. See it, reality. Because remember, I don't know, I do not speak French. If you hypnotize me now and film me, and I'm going to speak fluent French, there's only one explanation. That at one point of my life, I lived in France. On top of it, when you start asking me question, what's the day today? And I tell you 1829. Where are you? In Paris. What do you do? I'm a farmer. I'm just taking, I'm plowing the ground. What do you use? I described to you a tool that, like the Amish. You know the Amish, the tools that they use? That's how I describe it. I don't want to talk about tractor. I'm not aware that there are cars in the world because there was no cars 200 years ago. So you see, it's legit. You ask him question and describe what the history books describe. And different languages and also different accent. And sometimes in a voice of a woman. A man speaking the voice of a woman, or a woman in a thick voice of a man. You see it, there's no argument. Whatever we see, that's it. Thank you very much and good night.